Hi everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm Saurabh Pol. Welcome to Pol Ke Bol. Today I'm going to talk about Paul Pogba. He's trending again, but this time, well, like most times, for not good reasons. He has been banned by the Italian Football Federation for anti-doping activities, for doping activities actually, but the charges are on that. He has allegedly taken some, supplements, testosterone-laden supplements that were banned, and Pogba has the opportunity to actually appeal to the Court of Arbitration for Sports. He can go above and appeal over there. If it gets overturned, then fine. But the way I see it, more or less, this is a huge blow to Paul Pogba. Anyway, he's been injured. It's been more than a year. There have been problems with his family and everything. It's not really a good time for him, right? I'm definitely not going to talk about the doping part because, it's still out there, right? Like the jury's still out there. You have his opportunity to actually go and appeal it. So I'm not really get into that. It will be all speculation from our end in terms of whether doping took place or not. It would be really wrong to do that. But what will not be wrong is to actually talk about how Paul Pogba, in my eyes, is one of the worst footballing examples that we have seen in the last decade or so, right? He is the ultimate negative stereotype of the modern footballer and modern football in general. A completely fake capitalistic undertaking whose focus has been less on football and more on social media. He was once called a YouTube footballer by Graham Souness, and I take no pleasure in agreeing with the Liverpool legend, but we have to. Let me just put it out there. Graham Souness has won. Okay, he used to always slander Pogba, used to talk shit about Pogba. In fact, many times he was, I think, very unfairly and extremely critical towards Paul Pogba when he was a United player and also captained us a few times. It's very unfortunate that Graham Souness has been proven to be right, that this is an individual who doesn't take football seriously, his career seriously. He's someone who cannot be trusted, someone who is just not a good role model in a lot of ways. And all of these things that I'm saying have nothing to do with the doping ban, right? It all has to do with the fact that Pogba, ever since he was first at United, since he first left, went to Juventus, came back, went back to Juventus again, talked shit about our coach, about, the club in general, disrespected us at every step in my eyes. I think it was a complete and utter clown show. Okay. We got him back in 2016 after losing him for free to Juventus, his agent Mino Raiola. It was just madness, madness of the highest order, right? And it's I'm honestly not surprised things have come to this. In fact, if anyone remembers, just a year ago, his brother, his own brother, tried to blackmail him with some people, allegedly, right? Like, give me more money and stuff like that. His own brother claimed that Pogba hired some voodoo priests or something, and some black magic was conducted to ensure Mbappe was injured or something of that sort. These are crazy accusations. I won't really speculate on that. But what I can definitely talk about is what I saw in Paul Pogba at United, and this is not a surprise at all. If you genuinely think about it, right? Pogba was always there for the publicity more than the football part of it. Now you'll be like, oh, you're talking about a World Cup winner. Like, yeah, and Champions League finalist, and someone who's won leagues in different countries, right? Let me tell you something. All the teams Pogba was part of, they were super teams. The Juventus team Pogba was part of had won the league 7 years in a row. If something like that happens anywhere, we call that league a tin pot league, right? And the Italian Serie A had become a tin pot league at that time. Okay, let's be very honest. Let's be very frank. Uh, you're looking at the French football team that won the 2018 World Cup. Are you kidding me? It's one of the greatest football teams of all time. Okay. They had an 18-year-old Mbappe destroying anyone and everyone in front of them. They had Griezmann up top. They had Loris at the back. They were just super fantastic. They had Varane and like center back. Okay. It's crazy. It's crazy. And they literally dropped like Benzema and all. That team was so strong. They had prime Kante in the midfield. Okay. And with all of that, of course, there was Pogba who played very well for France. Let me be very honest. But the reason he did that was because he couldn't get away with his antics that he did at United, which was one of the world's worst run football clubs, and definitely the worst run football club in the big clubs category. Right? Paul Pogba and United were the perfect pairing in the 2010s, because late 2010s, because this was a club that was not interested in football. It was just a social media football club, and they got a social media star to be the leading man. The fact that Paul Pogba captained Manchester United is one of the worst things that has ever happened to the club. It's a disgrace that we let someone like him captain a great club. But then again, who am I to say anything? Just a fan, right? And as a fan, I think I might have respected United more than Paul Pogba has had. Uh, there were like Pogba was someone who had incredible talent, right? But he is like a case study in terms of a bad example for upcoming footballers and even existing current ones, right? Professional footballers. You might have all the talent in the world, but if you don't have the discipline for it, if you don't have respect for your teammates, your opponents, your fans, your manager especially, you're not going to succeed. You will coast for a while, but you're just not going to succeed. Okay, you're just not going to succeed in the long run. You're gonna do a huge disservice to your talent in general and the gift that was given to you. That is one. Okay, he's an extremely bad example. He's a great example for failure in my eyes, right? The second thing is, he is someone who you should look at and be like, how not to conduct yourself in a professional manner. He fought with his coaches, he fought with his teammates. He was called a virus by Mourinho allegedly. I mean, he fought with the fans, he fought with the pundits. He was just like always on the wrong side. Always on the wrong side. You could say, oh, he was criticized unfairly. Yeah, but he was also given a free pass by huge sections of the media, huge sections of his media, because a lot of it because of who he claimed to be, right? Some of the criticisms that he faced, okay, like basically there were times when he was just injured and he posted about praying or something, and he was criticized even for that. That was wrong. That was wrong. That has nothing to do. His personal life had nothing to do with it, right? The fact that he went on a religious pilgrimage had nothing to do with the fact that he was injured. That's different. But he was seen dancing at his brother's wedding while he's injured and the team is as usual not doing well. Now that is in bad taste. That just clearly shows that this is a footballer who either is extremely unintelligent or he's someone who genuinely doesn't give a shit. Okay, who just doesn't give a shit that what people think of him. But the reality is he's someone who's always kept himself above the football club and everyone else. He was an extremely selfish player who was extremely overrated. Paul Pogba is one of the most overrated footballers of all time. Okay, also, whenever he had to say something about the club or had to lash out against someone, he would use his attack dog, which was Mino Raiola, okay, who was his notorious agent, right? Uh, he would always use him. Raiola would say something, would insult the club. Raiola was openly going out there and like offering Pogba to Pep Guardiola and stuff like that. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. It was a circus of the highest order. It was the biggest circus in town, Manchester United, and the biggest clown in that circus was Paul Pogba in a lot of ways, right? I just hope and pray United never again go for a player like him. It would be embarrassing for him. It would be embarrassing for us as fans, embarrassing for the club, which has faced a lot of embarrassments. Okay, I'm using the word embarrassing a lot because the entire saga with Paul Pogba was just that. The way he went away, the way he came back, we let player power win with Paul Pogba, and even till date, if you ask me, player power hasn't died down at United. Okay, it's not like there are other clubs that don't have player power. Madrid has it. Chelsea has notoriously had it. Like I would say there was a time when Barcelona had it, but there was always a cleanup that happened, and they were like, okay, whoever is getting too powerful needs to go out. And there's a huge change in the club. A complete and total refresh is hit. One of the best days of United in recent years has been when Pogba left United, and again, I would say for free for Juventus. And what has Juventus gotten out of him? Nothing. He must have played like 3-4 months in the last 2-3 years. Complete failure. Like Juventus also lost in that trade, if you think about it. So the whole United ruined Pogba's career. No, Pogba ruined his own career. Okay, he's ruined his own career. Everyone's gonna remember him with such a horrible legacy. He's gonna be reduced to, ironically, he's gonna be reduced to the platform he loved the most, YouTube and Twitter. Just like going 30-second, 60-second reels where they're showing something he's doing. The reason they cannot show a 2, 3, 4, 5 minute compilation of Pogba in a single match, mind you, not combined matches, single match, is because he's rarely ever played full 90 minutes well. Even the game where we won against Man City 3-2, okay, like it was that Manchester derby. If they would have defeated us, they would have essentially won the league at the Etihad. And what happened? We were losing 2-0 in the first half. Pogba was horrible in the first half. He had good 45 minutes in the second half, right? You'll never find a game when he was good for full 90 minutes. He just never was extraordinary for full 90 minutes. He just wasn't. Incredibly inconsistent. Everyone was always like, oh, if you just get this player to partner with him, that player to partner with him. Completely pathetic. Okay. When the chips were down, that man was never someone who I looked up to, like, okay, this guy's going to drag us out of the rut. Absolutely not. He was a fair weather player, a YouTube footballer. Graham Souness was right. We should never, ever again go for a Paul Pogba, no matter what the talent level is. Okay. It's as simple as that. Never again go for a Paul Pogba, a player who, like, if you look at it, Sancho is just another version of Pogba. Jadon Sancho, again, a monumental failure at Manchester United, an embarrassment once again, a media circus once again, is just another Paul Pogba. That's it. Okay, Pogba is not just a player, he is an idea, an attitude, a phenomenon that basically is like, which is just a symptom. Paul Pogba is a symptom of modern football where the priorities are all messed up, where people are fans of players over clubs. Like wherever the player goes, I'm a fan of that club. Like the club doesn't matter, the player matters. Okay, so it's like a little bit like basketball. It was different in football, right? People were fans of clubs, but now they've become fans of players, and brands have really understood that, which is extremely unfortunate if you ask me, because football is a lot about loyalty, and just being sticking with the club, being a fan of the club. Okay, although you could say there is rarely any loyalty left in football, I agree, but why are we supporting players over like football clubs? You should be a member of a football club, a fan of a football club. That's the whole experience. The reason is because we are witnessing star power of footballers being used to just sell products and ideas and agendas. As simple as that. Okay. And there are players like Paul Pogba who are just pathetic examples of a footballer, a pathetic footballer at the very end, if you think about it, who has zero legacy. And people were like, oh, he was unfairly treated. Now, in light of all these things that have happened, I don't think he was unfairly treated at all. I'm just glad Paul Pogba is no longer part of Manchester United, and I just hope we never sign someone like him ever again. Thank you, everyone. Take care.